Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:31, and we will have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mina McCory.
Hi everyone, I'm Mina McCory, the Northville Student Congress President. Welcome to this evening's board meeting. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'd like to thank the Board of Education, the teachers, administration, and everyone here today. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mina.
Thank you very much. Ms. Donor, if we could have the roll call.
Mr. Wong?
Here.
Ms. Prescott?
Here.
Ms. Stoner's here. Ms. Jankowski?
Here.
Ms. Jafer?
Here.
Ms. Lynn?
Here.
And Mr. Wilk?
Here.
Okay, Sarah, if we could have a show of hands, a raising of hands of the board-elect members.
So we have Lisa McIntyre, Lindsay Wilson, Jim Mazurik.
Thank you very much.
And Sarah Prescott currently here.
Sure. Thank you very much and welcome. Let's see. Roll call. Oh, we did that. Adoption of the agenda, item 4. If you can bring the motion, Ms. Prescott.
Sure. It is motion number 88 that the agenda be adopted as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have motion properly brought by Ms. Prescott and supported by Mr. Wilk. Roll call.
Ms. Prescott?
Yes.
Mr. Wilk?
Yes.
Ms. Stoner's a yes. Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Ms. Jafer?
Yes.
Ms. Jankowski?
Yes.
And Ms. Lynn?
Yes.
Okay, we're on to item 5, consent resolutions. Ms. Prescott.
It is motion number 89. So this is a motion to adopt these consent resolution items as presented. 5A is the minutes of the 11/23/20 virtual special call Board of Education meeting. And 5B is bill warrants totaling $5,799,359.85.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion properly brought by Ms. Prescott and supported by Ms. Lynn.
Mr. Wilk?
Yes.
Ms. Stoner's a yes. Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Ms. Jafer? Ms. Jafer, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Jankowski?
Yes.
Ms. Lynn?
Yes.
Ms. Prescott?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we are on to item 6, communications. Ms. Stoner.
There are 2 communications to the NPS BOE at northvilleschools.org. And the second is Northville Youth Network Program Report dated December 2nd, 2020.
Thank you. We're on to item 7, Northville High School presentation, excellence in academics, the arts, and athletics. Ms. Gallagher and Mr. Koski, Ms. Slater, and Mr. Smolsky.
Well, I'm honored to turn it over to Northville High School Principal Tony Koski. We have an incredible array of honors and recognitions to celebrate tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Gallagher. Good evening. Tonight, privilege to acknowledge some of the finest students at Northville High School for some of their achievements. Our recognition tonight includes our College Board Recognition Program scholars, our National Merit Scholarship commended and semifinal scholars, International Baccalaureate middle years program certificate earners and/or personal project students, and our NHS Fall Student Athlete High Achievers with their coaches and teams. First, I wish I were doing this in person, so I was able to shake each and every one of our students' hands. Unfortunately, we can't do that tonight to recognize these outstanding achievements. But we will do our best to acknowledge and honor our students tonight in a little different format. I do want to also note that before we get going, that any of the recognition slideshows we are showing tonight will be available for students and their parents. The first group of students we'd like to recognize is the College Board National Recognition Program Scholars. I believe Valeria, Philip, and Kaden are out there and will be recognized shortly in our computer slideshow. But I do want to give some background on the distinguished awards they will be receiving. The College Board's National Recognition Program acknowledges students who scored in the top 2.5% of the PSAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying test takers in one of the numerous areas, including African American, Hispanic American, Latin American, attend school in a rural area, from a small town, with a number of other categories too. I'm now going to read a letter that was sent to each of our 3 students that I actually have. You don't have them yet, students. And also a certificate that was sent to them. But I do want to read the letter and give a little bit more detail on the program, and also gives more congratulations to these 3 students. Dear Valeria, Philip, and Kaden, congratulations on being selected for the College Board National Hispanic or African American Scholar Recognition Program. I couldn't be more delighted to share this great news. You've earned this recognition because of your remarkable academic achievements and outstanding performance on the PSAT and MSQT. You have put the effort and your future is bright. The recognition will help colleges see the potential and power of your curiosity and your commitment to learning. As a National Hispanic or African American Recognition Program winner, the College Board will help make it easier for you to connect directly to colleges around the country, and we will help colleges see the range of talents and interests by sharing some of your achievements. You may even hear from campuses inviting you to apply and consider opportunities like scholarship programs. Colleges know that students who have earned this recognition are some of the most talented across the country. I recommend that you list the award in your college scholarship applications, college and scholarship applications. We are extremely proud of you and what you've accomplished, and honor you as part of the College Board National Scholar Recognition Program. We are hopeful this program helps you on your path to college. On behalf of the College Board, I celebrate your success and the brightness of all that lies ahead. Sincerely, David Coleman, Chief Executive Officer, the College Board. So again, don't forget, in a few minutes, those 3 students will be honored in our computer slideshow. But I certainly, I do have their College Board recognition certificates in hand. I think somewhere around here. Here's one of them. So proof of that, and that also their letters. So that's the first group we wanted to recognize tonight. So the second group, now we want to honor and acknowledge the National Merit Scholarship Commended and semifinalist scholars. Each year, nearly 1.6 million juniors take the PSAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. And out of those students, the top 50,000, I repeat, only 50,000 out of 1.6 million qualify for recognition in the National Merit Scholarship Program. Here at Northville High School this year, we have 68, I repeat, 68 amazing students that are National Merit Scholars. 24 students achieved commended status, which means they were then in the top 3 to 4% in the nation. 44 students achieved semifinalist status, meaning they scored in the top 1% in the nation and can go on to complete an application to be National Merit finalists. I do want to give some, kind of go off script here a little bit and give some personal perspective on this. I'm going to share maybe a little story. I was fortunate to be the principal on the west side of the state in a high school for 10 years. That was a very, very good high school. In those 10 years, we had one commended student. I repeat, one commended student in 10 years at a very good high school on the west side of the state. We have 68 national merit, or I should say, scholars tonight. That's an incredible, and sometimes maybe we take that for granted. We don't try to take it for granted, but that is such an incredible, statistic. When you have hardworking, determined students, supportive parents, and committed teachers, which we have all three, that is the formula for this level of academic success. It is an impressive achievement, and we are very, very proud of our National Merit Scholars. Congratulations to that group. So at this time, I would like us to show the National Merit College Board Distinguished Scholars slideshow. Distinguished scholars, we will be getting your certificates and a link to this slideshow to you soon. And again, I wish I could be shaking your hand or giving you a high five, but we have a little slideshow to a little bit of music at this time. So let's sit probably about a 4 or 5 minute presentation here. Yeah. Little round of applause. First of all, a quick shout out and thank you to Kelly Knotts and Sarah Jacobs for making that presentation happen. And again, congratulations to those students. Before I hand it over to Sherry Slater, I do want to just give a little bit on our personal project students. Another group we are honoring tonight are International Baccalaureate Middle Years Program personal project students from 2020. The IB MYP personal project is a culminating activity of our IB Middle Years program during the sophomore year. This project can be completed by taking class or doing it as an extracurricular. Ms. Slater will give more details in a little bit, but I do want to share some personal thoughts. The personal project is a student-centered exploration that allows students to pursue an area of personal interest over an extended period and provides them skills they'll need in both for further education and life beyond education. Personal project students need to have a mentor as part of their learning. Fortunately and selfishly, I've been a mentor for a student each of my years as principal at Northville High School. Fortunately, because it's another way I get to interact with our incredible students doing these personal projects. Selfishly, because each year I, as a mentor, learn more from the students than they learn from me. And this past year was certainly no exception. And while you'll see some of these titles of some of these projects, incredible work. I'm sad that we're not able to do the personal project last spring, so we could really see what their projects were about and to honor what they achieved through their thoughtful work. But at least tonight, we get a chance to thank our personal project students for their incredible works, and more importantly, recognize their journey in their personal learning exploration. Thank you, 2020 IB MYP personal project students. And now I want to hand it over to Ms. Slater, our personal project classroom teacher and extracurricular advisor, who does an outstanding and commendable job with our personal project students.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Koski. I would also like to thank Mrs. Gallagher, the entire Board of Education, for having us here tonight to recognize the personal project students. It's really, really nice. The personal projects are a big undertaking, and it wouldn't be possible without the support of a lot of teachers in the building that take on students as mentoring them, as well as Mrs. Muhammad, Mr. Koski, and Dr. Brock. So without further ado, we'll take a look at a summary of this year's class. So this year, last year, in the spring, we had 50 students who completed the project, 24 by taking the MYP personal project elective course, and 26 as an extracurricular activity. The students who completed fundraisers as a project were able to accumulate net $5,322.50 and donated that to charitable organizations. However, that does not include some of the things that we couldn't put monetary values to. And that would include a mental health media center collection at NHS, a rowing club boat rack, and some clothing and uniform fundraisers. We did try and make this as normal as possible for the students in the spring. These students did go through an adjudication process that was held via Zoom with me, the student, and the mentor. And all the students did a great job with the challenges that they had in front of them. So these are the students. Each slide contains or categorize them for research projects. Now, research projects are unique because the container for that research can be pretty creative in terms of its final result. You know, we have a podcast here. We have an actual presentation that a student gave that researched and gave information to the director of our food service, a video. Very, very, very nice. These are our fundraiser projects. A lot of these organizations speak to the students personally. As Mr. Koski had mentioned that he was a mentor. He mentored Maria here, and he also has friends or acquaintances that had Marfan's syndrome and was kind of touched by that. Performance projects. Typically students show their abilities, their newly learned abilities and skills in a video. So most of these include videos as their outcome, but you can see, again, a wide range here. Literacy projects, obviously the outcome dealt mostly with writing in terms of books or essays, blogs, webcomics. Build type projects are a little flashy because we have this nice tangible object that the student produces, and it's always exciting as well for them to, you know, have this, like, look what I did as my outcome. Art projects, you also have paintings, different variety of pieces of art. Our technology projects are, again, a wide range, a lot of websites, YouTube channels, learning programming, artificial intelligence, but again, a lot of websites. And these also could be technology/research projects as well. But that is our projects for the year.
I just want to just say real quickly that I wish we could give these projects justice tonight. And what I mean by that, they're incredible projects that our students spend so much time on, and it really missed having the personal project night last year that I know many people attended, and just outstanding projects, and we learn so much when we have those nights. It is simply incredible seeing those projects and what they represent. So thank you to those students.
To just add on, the range of topics and interests and depth of study has been incredible. And I did last year have the honor of sitting in on a couple of the adjudication meetings. And so, Ms. Slater, would you just speak just a little bit to what that adjudication process looks like? I know the rubric is like 6 pages long in the MYP piece, and some thoughtful questions probing questions are asked, but the enthusiasm and passion the students have for their topic or area that they selected is really palpable and noteworthy. And to have nearly half of the students complete that in addition to all of their coursework is quite incredible as well. But do just tell us a little more about that adjudication process.
Absolutely. So with the at the end of the project, students do an adjudication presentation, and that will consist of myself, their mentor, the student, and then we do invite the staff if they would like to come in, additional staff if they would like to listen. Administration sits in as well as just panelists on that presentation. It lasts anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. The student prepares a presentation that really follows the report guidelines. And then after the presentation, the panelists will have some questions, some probing questions, maybe about research or process or further explanations. So it is high level, it's high level critical thinking on their feet. Once they answer those questions, typically we do this during the school day. The students goes back to class, and then we as a panel agree on the grading rubric, and we go through that strand by strand and kind of talk through that. So it's a pretty lengthy process.
Mrs. Slater, one last thank you to you too for all you do for the personal project and our students. Thank you. It's you do a great job. Thank you.
Congratulations to all of the students, and that does the certificate represents that full completion of the grades 6 through 10 middle years program, which includes this capstone project. So kudos to each of our MYP recipients.
Can I break in and I'm chomping at the bit in terms of wanting to congratulate everyone, and I'm sure the board wants to do the same. I just wanted to congratulate all of the honorees and the personal project students and all the performance honorees. So I just want to hear from the rest of the board too, because I'm sure they have things to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, Roland, thank you. And I echo Mr. Koski. It's really unfortunate that we can't do this in person, because I think it's hard to describe how voluminous and amazing it is to have so many kids performing at such a high level. I know when we were in the high school last year at this time, we saw the list of projects and frankly, it read like PhD dissertations. And I consider us a pretty smart group of people, and a bunch of us were looking around and we're like, what do those words even mean? These kids are super smart, super dedicated, and I'm sure they're going to go on to amazing things. And so congratulations to all of them, and Mr. Koski and the rest of the team at Northville High should be pretty proud.
I just want to echo what a joy it is to attend this meeting every year. I actually will say that COVID has given us a few silver linings here and there, and I loved watching Mr. Koski the video that gave the beautiful scene. It looks like senior portraits of a lot of those students, or maybe junior, and or maybe sophomore. And seeing what their hopes are, getting to see what some of their plans are. That was really cool. That was a little different. And so I loved that. And also just want to echo Mr. Wilk's comment that seeing the MYP program, personal projects each year is one of the highlights of the year for me. I love these projects. They are so interesting. They just reflect such a great breadth of thinking and interest, and it's just the best of what we do at Northville schools. And so it's just such a joy to end our year of meetings focusing on achievement, focusing on the hard work these kids have done, both in their testing and then in their in-depth project work. So just such a joy to be on the board at this time of year and see that. And so thank you to all the people who bring that to us.
I'll be short, but I wanted to also thank the entire Northville High School staff and leadership team and district for the amazing opportunity to glow. Tonight is always just such a point of pride for our district. And I was blown away by Mr. Koski's story last year, so I was expecting it this year, how typically one merit scholar from any high school is very remarkable. So that's something that I put in my brag book all year long when I'm out in the community and I talk about the achievements of our incredibly bright students, the MYP projects, the innovation, the opportunity. So I kept a little tally sheet of what they love most about NHS. And it was the people, the opportunity, the leadership, the teachers, the community, which really it takes all of that, all those ingredients. So just so proud, and I wish we could be in person, but this is also, it's still the same feeling as it was last year, and we end the year on always such a positive note. So thank you.
And just from my perspective, you know, I'm always amazed at the personal projects that our students find the most dedication and passion for. Looking at the list at this list today, I'm not sure I could tackle any one of those. So I celebrate them in their accomplishments and for their creativity to really pursue their passion and what they want to do, and congratulate all of them.
It was awesome also, I'll just a final note, to see the learning to play the ukulele and building a boat and creating art. And so that range, it is really about tapping into your inner interests and taking that time to explore that passion. And so also hats off to everyone who selected something to be balanced and to think about stretching all aspects of your brain and body, which is really tremendous to see as well. So thank you.
Should I turn it over back to Mr. Koski and Mr. Smolsky and you, Mary Kay?
Yes, so we're on. We've had excellence in academics and in the arts, and now we look to our fields of play.
I'm gonna kind of do a quick intro to Mr. Smolsky here. First, I need to thank Mr. Smolsky for doing an outstanding job navigating the challenges that COVID-19 threw at us in getting in fall athletics up and going this year. If you would have asked me in August that we are able to be here tonight honoring our 2020 fall student athletes, coaches, and teams, I probably would have doubted you. Thank you, Mr. Smolsky, our coaches, for your guidance, leadership, and support in making the fall season happen and help giving our student athletes an opportunity to compete. And thank you, NHS student athletes, for your grit and resilience this past season in making this fall a memorable one with your outstanding accomplishments. In a couple personal notes, I so much enjoy seeing our student athletes compete in this fall. I think was extra special, even though it was different, because I think we all had different perspective on just being out there and seeing our student athletes doing it and appreciating what they do and how they do it. So thank you to our student athletes. And I also want to give a little bit of love to our girls swim team. I hope you get a chance to complete your season. I think you would have been state champs, and you still may be state champs. I hope that's the case. In my eyes, you're state champs, but I just want to throw a little shout out to them. Even though different in many perspectives, what an awesome fall season our NHS student athletes, coaches, and teams had, including another state championship of our girls golf team. Congratulations and a job well done under the most challenging of circumstances. Our 2020 fall student athletes, coaches, and teams could not have made us more proud. Go Stangs. And now I'm going to hand it over to our athletic director, Mr. Smolsky.
Thank you, Mr. Koski. Good evening. I hope everyone's healthy, and congratulations to all the students honored this evening. Thank you to Superintendent Gallagher, her central office team, and the Board of Education for having us tonight to celebrate the fall 2020 athletic teams. This past fall looked very different due to COVID-19. Masks, sanitizers, limited fans, no student sections, and I could go on and on. But with that said, it was still a very successful fall. I want to thank all the fall student athletes, coaches, and teams for following all our safety protocols that we put in, so we were able to provide this great opportunity for them. To see the joy in their eyes when they got a chance to compete at practice or contest was the highlight of my day. And I know it had a huge impact on them that we were able to do it. We had many academic scholar athletes, all-state athletes, and championships this past fall. Tonight, we'll honor the teams that qualified for states and won MHSA championships. We're going to go ahead and start off with boys cross country, who qualified for the state finals and finished 11th in the state. Head coach Tim Dalton.
Good evening. Thank you. Hard to follow up the presentation of our national merit and personal projects, but I would like to start with thanking the Board of Education and Superintendent Gallagher for honoring our student athletes. It plays as such an important piece in our kids' lives, athletics. Also, a couple important people. Thank you to AD Brian Smolsky, Principal Tony Koski, and our athletic secretary, Rosina Lamerson, they all do everything they can to make sure our kids are successful, both in the classroom and on the field of play. This past year, we had 56 boys on the cross-country team. And at the beginning of the season, I met with our seniors, and we had a discussion about what we all knew would be a different season. And their main wish was they just wanted the chance to compete, especially coming off a lost spring track season. So to make it through the season with no major COVID issues and be able to race was a victory for our kids. Given the adversity they faced, they accomplished some impressive stats. Out of those 56 boys, 51 ran a personal record for 5,000 meters. We finished second in the KLA conference meet, second in the regional finals, and 11th at the MHSA state finals. The 7 athletes shown represent our state finals team. Just as impressive, our boys were recognized for their work in the classroom. We really try to emphasize that term student athlete. Our boys cross-country team earned academic all-state honors with an average GPA of 3.85. I would also be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my 3 assistant coaches, Jack Dalton, Colin Riley, and Tom Brown, who are vital in success of such a large program, and especially given the COVID guidelines we followed. Lastly, congratulations to my fellow coaches and teams here tonight, and a special note to my colleague and friend Chris Cronin and the girls golf team on back-to-back state titles. So thanks so much.
Next, we'll have boys tennis, who won the KLA division and conference. They were district regional champions. They qualified for states, finished 5th overall, and our #1 singles, Matt Freeman, finished in the top 4 in the state. Head coach Chauncey Nixon.
Thank you for the introduction. I first off want to thank both Tony, Rosina, and Brian for making sure that we were able to have a season. The greatest thanks I can give, though, is to all the parents who really helped out a lot to make our program great. This is one of the larger and more prestigious programs in the state, in that we actually house 3 teams. We have a varsity team, a JV, and a JVB team. We have more than 70 student athletes actually try out for the team. So just to get a position it says a lot about the athletes' commitment and their talent. Of the 21 students who did make the varsity team, he's already mentioned many of their accomplishments, but what I'm most proud of is the integrity in which we competed. We received letters throughout the year and a lot of compliments from fellow coaches and student athletes for the way we compete. In this sport, it's a small fraternity in that you might be competing against someone one day at the high school level, and then you go to college and you're on the same teams. So it's best that you find camaraderie and make friendships, because those last longer than the competition does for that day. And this team did just that. We call our own lines, so the integrity is very important. And the way that this team received compliments for their sportsmanship is what stood out most to me. And I'm very thankful to have been a part of this program. Again, thankful for the captains and leaderships that we had. He already mentioned Matthew Freeman, our #1 singles, who was a state semifinalist. And I also want to thank the assistant coaches, both Michael Erickson and Brendan Parker, who did a fantastic job in keeping those teams organized, that being the JVB team and the JVA team. One of those teams went undefeated, in their own personal season. So we've had a lot to be proud of, and I'm very thankful to be a part of the program.
Thank you, Coach Nixon. Next, we'll have girls cross country. They won the KLA conference and regional championship this year. They qualified for states, finishing 7th. Region 8 Coach of the Year, Coach Nancy Smith.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Board of Education, the administration team, athletic Brian Smolsky, and Rosina Lamerson for giving me another opportunity to coach the girls cross country team as I wrap up my 20th year of coaching at NHS. I need to also thank my amazing assistant coach, Erin Baker, who I wouldn't have been able to make it through the season without her by my side. Our season started out a little rough. We were the first team to be COVID ridden. So we basically got through it. We decided we had one goal in mind, is to continue on and be able to compete every chance we could. We had an amazing group of athletes of 39 girls. I was able to coach them, dealt with many ups and downs throughout the season, but never knowing what the next day would bring us. We had a lot of accomplishments this season. We had, like Brian said, we won our 10th conference title, our 9th regional championship, and we finished 7th in the state for the 10th time in the last 10 years. The 7 athletes that you see and our alternate A repeaters competed at the state meet, bringing home our 10th conference final, finish in the state. We also were academic all-state. We had 3 individual academic athletes in Jenny Line, Jeannie DeGroot, and Yasmin Mancy. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for having us on tonight.
Next, we'll honor the girls swim and dive team. The girls swim and dive team won the KLA division and conference championship this year, and they qualified for the state finals. Like Mr. Koski said, currently that is on pause. Hopefully these girls get to compete in that. This picture here on this slide is them. We were able to do time trials the night before the pause, which was a great event where a lot of the girls swam their fastest times. Head coach Brian McNabb.
Thank you. I would also like to thank the administration, the Board of Education, the AD, Brian Smolsky and Rosina Lamerson. They did a tremendous job just getting us through the season with all the COVID reports, everything that they did for us. I know Mr. Smolsky was in and out of the pool a lot, just updating on us and everything, and so they helped us out a tremendous amount. I also would like to thank AD for putting Chris Cronin in girls golf last, because I think he went first last year, and his accomplishments just kind of dwarfed all of ours. So I appreciate that he's last so we can build up to his. But this year, our team was just a tremendous group of girls. We started the season out with uncertainty, not being able to practice indoors, having to stay outdoors, and not sure when the season was going to end. It seemed like every week we were waiting. But the girls that didn't matter to them. One thing we kept throughout the whole season was saying that it didn't matter what was going on outside. As long as we were in that pool, we were going to train, and we're going to train as hard as we can and be the best that we could be. And the girls did that every single day. And I told the girls throughout the whole year just how proud I was of them for that effort that they gave and for the accomplishments that they had. This team this year was one of the best I've ever had, as far as times, as far as accomplishments in the pool. But I think it clearly was the best team I've ever coached from the mental aspect of how they pushed through this season. They impressed me every day from top to bottom. We had 4 different teams. At times we had 5 different teams, and every single team just came in and did their job, did what we asked. And I think one of the most things I'm proud of is we had over 90 girls, and not one of them got sick with COVID, and we were able to keep every single one safe, despite all the changing practices, despite going in and out of meets, all that stuff, we kept them safe. And that's another thing that I was very proud of. So as has already been mentioned, our season is not complete yet. We're still kind of waiting on what might happen in the future, but no matter what happens, this is a team that I know doesn't matter what's going on. If there's a meet there and there's water in the pool, we're gonna go and we're gonna compete and we're gonna swim the best we can. And like Mr. Koski said, I wouldn't be surprised if we were state champions this year. So I appreciate that support as well. So thank you, everyone. And hopefully we can continue our season and give some more updates for you. Thank you.
And lastly, we'll wrap up with girls golf. Girls golf won the KLA conference championship. They took 2nd at regionals and qualifying for the state finals. And for the 3rd year in a row, they went on to win the state championship. which was just great to watch. I was able to go out there that morning and watch, and then had to come back to watch our football team in the playoffs against Belleville. So I didn't get to watch the end, but all the coaches in the athletic department, we had the app. So we continued to watch the score as we would go up 2 and then go down 1 and then go up 1 again, and ultimately winning the state championship. So head coach of the year for the state of Michigan, Coach Chris Cronin.
Thanks, Brian. As many of my peers have already mentioned tonight, it really takes a united effort to help these athletes reach their full potential. And this year, once again, we had tremendous support, not only from my parents, who were amazing, the athletic department, personal thank you to Brian and Rosina for everything that they've done, but also just the Michigan high school golf coaches. They were absolutely incredible this year. Everybody knew what we were up against, and they worked hard to make sure that we had a season. Without their support, the results that we achieved, and quite frankly, every golf team in the state achieved this year, simply would not have been possible. As you've already heard, this is our 3rd state title in a row, and we are super proud of that fact. Tonight, well, you see up on the screen there the picture. I was going to say we're joined tonight by 8 players of the 16 girls on the team, but these are the 8 players that constituted our state team. They are sophomores Avi Gill and Samantha Newman, juniors Mega Valabanini, Hazel Park, Emily Hoffner, and Megan Alenka, and our senior captains, who without them, I don't know what I would have done this year, Lauren McGowan and Caitlin Tokars. Over the course of the season, the team won a total of 9 tournaments with a scoring average of 309. That's 4 players scoring 309. So their average was just over 77 strokes per 18 holes. Give you some perspective, that's about 5 over par on average per girl. The team also earned academic all-state honors with a 3.936 GPA average, and only seniors in high school golf are eligible for all-state honors, and Caitlin Tokars earned individual academic all-state with a flawless 4.0 GPA. The girls shared the KLAA conference title, as AD Samolsky said, with Plymouth. We finished 2nd at the regional to Plymouth, and heading into the state finals, we held the 3rd place ranking in Division I. We knew that the state finals were going to be a tremendous test against possibly the best field that's ever been assembled for girls golf in the state of Michigan. But I can honestly say these girls, if any girls, were confident and they knew they had a chance to win. At one point during the tournament, I think we were in 8th place. The girls showed grit, determination, and continued battle throughout the round. With 4 holes remaining, we were still 2 strokes behind Rochester Adams. In what will be a stat for the record books, the girls played their last 4 holes, that is collectively in 2 under par, and we turned a 2-shot deficit into a 9-shot state championship. Again, I'm super proud of these girls, and I want to thank everybody for their support, for everything they've done, not only for me, but for this team and helping us achieve the success we have, not only this year, but in the last 3 seasons. Thank you.
That concludes the athletic portion of tonight's board meeting. Again, I just want to thank all the coaches, the athletes, and the teams for all the effort they put in this past fall. It was one like no other, and I was so glad we were able to find a way to compete and play throughout the fall. Thank you.